Today's an interesting day in gaming because we're coming off the big Xbox Developer Direct, so clearly a lot of people are still talking about it. Xbox fans are hyped up, excited for the likes of Indiana Jones, Avowed, Hellblade 2. The stuff that's coming to Xbox, I think, looks incredible. They're finally hitting their stride. On the other hand, you also have this other part of this equation, which is something like Game Pass. And Game Pass does rely a lot on the first party, but it also relies heavily on getting third-party day one games, even if they're not exclusive, or even if they're sort of timed exclusive, which I think is very interesting as far as that goes. Now, the super funny part about this entire thing is when Microsoft gets some of these games, it really brings attention to the platform. So there's this game called Pal World, which people said it's Pokemon with guns. I would say it's not exactly that. I would say that it is sort of an Ark survival evolved game, but with creatures, that maybe resemble some Pokemon. Like, it's completely not a Pokemon game. I haven't had a ton of experience with Pokemon games because that's not exactly my thing. But, Pokemon, you're a trainer or whatever, right? You're going around looking for Pokemon and things like that. I think that is vastly different than what we're seeing right here at this particular juncture. So, at the end of the day, I feel like it is different, but there's over 1 million people bought the game. The servers are crashing. Like, this is a huge thing and a huge get for Xbox. I mean, obviously this game is going to certainly come to PlayStation down the line, but it's one of those situations where I think Microsoft really spotted something and saw that this could be huge. So in addition to even though Microsoft doesn't have, a big quarter one first party title from the looks of it, they do have stuff like this, and they'll probably have other like third party games and things. So, again, we'll be seeing what happens long term with that. But what's really cool about this is, you have Game Pass, and a lot of people are like down on Game Pass or try to belittle Game Pass, and I've never really understood that. Like, at first I get it. I was a little bit like, this has got to be disruptive to the industry. Like, your first initial reaction to Game Pass when you find out about Game Pass is it's got to be hurting industry somewhere, right? And then you find out, it's not, and it's really helping developers. Does that mean every developer loves it? No, but obviously, something that shakes the industry is going to have a few detractors along the way. So, according to a recent analyst, Game Pass subscribers have likely surpassed 33 million subs last year, and that's not counting the subscribers, which we know from the FTC leaked documents that there were 14 million Xbox Live Gold subscribers still, right? So think about that. There were 14 million Gold subscribers. You add that on top of the 33 million, and you have a pretty good amount. And you might go, well, how do you add that on top? Well, it's now called Game Pass Core. So, you have 47, almost 50 million Game Pass subscribers, regardless of anything else. So anyway, this is interesting. So it's been a while since we've had official numbers about Game Pass subscribers, but back in early 2022, Microsoft announced that the service had hit 25 million members. But aside from a retracted 30 million milestone in September last year, we've not really had many updates. We have another figure to kind of look at right now. It's not official, but speaking to IGN in a recent feature, a senior analyst at Media provided a new estimate on Game Pass. They said, and I quote, "Our forecast estimates total Xbox Game Pass subscribers, excluding Core Live Gold, to be at 33.3 million at the end of 2023, which represents subscriber growth of 13%, down from 15% in 2022. And notably, over half are currently on the device agnostic ultimate tier." So they're saying that 55-60% are on the ultimate tier, which is gives you access to PC and console. That's not really saying that more on PC or more on console or whatever, but he claims we're seeing slowing adoption of Game Pass, at least when counting Microsoft's new Game Pass tier that replaced Gold last year at the end of 2022. Phil Spencer made a similar remark about Game Pass slowing down on consoles, but it's good to have kind of a rough estimate as we kind of look at this as being successful. There's no other real service like this in gaming, right? Like where you can just get your a la carte games like that. And like I said, Pal World is like a very good idea of that. Stuff like when Hellblade 2 or Indiana Jones comes out, I think that's going to be pretty significant as well. And at the end of the day, I think Microsoft has made a good value proposition for gamers across the world. Hey, we're not just this console, we're not just a shooter box or all of this. We are, so much more than that. But I do think Microsoft still has to kind of make things clear about certain things before too long, because people are just going to run with a lot of the rumors and things like that. And listen, we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the future, but I do know that Microsoft probably, from the numbers aspect of things, look at things and things look good on paper. Listen, if you look at who likes, I know we're past Christmas and all that, but who's seen the movie Christmas Vacation, right? Obviously, a lot of us have seen Christmas Vacation, and what's that movie kind of based about, right? Like, he's waiting for his bonus to put in a new pool. He's already put the down payment down, et cetera, et cetera. But guess what? On paper, it looks like, canceling these types of things to them looked like a good idea. You make money, you save money by doing that, but unfortunately, the people are really the ones that you kind of hurt with that. So, again, we sort of see a situation like this, and we see that, Microsoft probably looks like they think they can make something. And listen, maybe short term, you could make some big money like that, but they would totally kill their console. Totally kill it. All the people that subscribe would eventually leave and slowly leave, and it'd be a slow death to Game Pass, a slow death to Xbox, and just in general. So again, I hate to kind of be like the negative or whatever, because I'm not really being a negative Nancy. I'm just saying that's what would happen. People would definitely not stick around, in my opinion. But again, this is cool to see that we've got all this kind of cool stuff. To look forward to, like this PAL World looks interesting. Like I said, Avowed, Indiana Jones, Hellblade 2, all this stuff is coming to Game Pass later this year. I just hope that it's one of those things that honestly happens where this is accurate, or maybe even on the low side. Listen, numbers were never going to be where they were during a pandemic, where people were forced to be inside, right? That was just never going to be a thing. We were never going to be able to kind of see those type of numbers, that type of growth, from this type of situation. And we probably won't again. That doesn't mean that nobody will. But listen, things will slow down. Microsoft has to realize that, you have to kind of bite the bullet. If you want to grow your subscription service, you have to get your console out there, right? It's always going to be the best way to kind of subscribe to this stuff. And you can't have a console that is more expensive or just as expensive. I think we saw the biggest growth that they've ever had, and that was thanks to price cuts. You can pick up a Series X for $350, right? You have to be on the offensive, and hopefully that's what they decide to do in the future. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. Peace.